Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Usual school thing, can you hear me at the back? Fantastic, thanks. Thumbs up and the whole thing. So, good morning, welcome along to ScotSoft 2014. This is the schools debate, the second time that I've managed to chair this and wangle my way into this position. My name's Graeme Gordon. I'm the CEO of a company called Internet for Business, IFB. I'll tell you a little bit about what we do in a very small way, but more about what we're doing today. So there'll be people coming and going because the traffic's a little bit bad. Thanks for you all making it. Thanks to the teachers and parents for the support as well. We've got a great lineup today. People on stage today include a social worker and mental health officer, a fellow of the Royal Society of Fine Arts, one of the most 25 influential people in the world rated by Wired magazine, a games designer, a senior library officer, and a former helicopter pilot. I'll let you choose and see if you can identify who's who during the course of the day. And of course, we have an MSP here as well, and we'll be joined on stage very shortly. So the background today in the schools debate and the whole ethos about this is engagement with our sector, our industry, and trying to get you guys excited about what we do and what opportunities there are in our sector for you. It's not all about coding. It's not all about hardware building. It's not all about poles and holes and fiber and any of these things. It's a lot bigger than that. So I thought we'd talk about opportunities in a digital but stroke education society, because we're based in education. We are a scientific and education society. We're educated. We've got advancements in health. We've got advancements in technology, advancements in social care, all based in the educational system. So having the piece of paper at the end of the day will help you step through doors. You've got to go and find those doors, but having that piece of paper will help you step through those doors. So what are those doors and what are those opportunities for you? So there's Team Gordon. That's us. There's 5 of us. So I did math at school, so I can count. So my eldest one is now doing Mech Eng at Strathclyde University. He's just engaged there. My daughter in the middle speaks 2 languages. None of them are parent. And my youngest son at 11 is extremely sporty. My wife's a primary teacher, and I do what I do. But on a monthly basis, we push around the equivalent on our mobile devices of 10 PlayStations or 10 Xbox Ones. So from a mobile environment, as an average family, we're pushing a massive amount of data around. We're creating it because we take photographs like this at the Commonwealth Games and other photographs I don't get to see from the kids, I'm sure as your mum and dad will fully appreciate. But we're a pretty average family. And the opportunities that the data that we create and consume and how it's created and consumed are really about our digital future. But a little bit of how I got here and how exciting some of the jobs I've done can be, because I've arrived here as in a certain position. My first job that I got paid money for was a butcher. Then I drove a van and did deliveries for a while. And then I DJ'd for quite a while. I know you don't think it, but I did DJ for quite a while. Maybe not quite to his standard, but I did DJ for a while, and I loved that job. I worked in radio, and the notable part here for some of us in the room, vinyl in the bottom right-hand corner. I know HMV are now starting to sell vinyl again. And I worked in retail. I worked in retail for quite a period of time. But my real love was being an engineer. I love making, usually breaking things, but then making them again. I love getting my hands dirty. I love being in about things. That's me with Captain Kirk showing him the first iPad back in 1967. But my love was engineering. But I always had a view on the boss's seat. Sometimes people got between me and the boss's seat, but I always wanted to be my own boss. That's me. That might not suit you, because your idea of being a boss might be this guy. The CEO might be all-conquering, all-evil, empire-guiding individual. But not all CEOs are like that. My view of a CEO in our industry is very much influenced by Bill Gates and his mantra in my early days. I'm 47 on my next birthday. I know I don't look it, but I'm 47 on my next birthday, so I'm a first-generation geek. I remember life without computers. None of you in the room, very few of you in the room, will remember that, sitting down as pupils. In fact, none of you will. But that was my first experience of a CEO. The guy who's really blessed with introducing beards to the top level of business, but he did a little bit more within that environment too. You recognize the faces so far. And Tim Cook now running the show within that environment at Apple. A tough gig to follow up on. But there are some really impressive female CEOs as well. Engineers, people who have taken engineering skills and turned them into leadership skills at some of the leading companies right across the planet. Susan here has just been appointed to probably the toughest job, I think, in digital in the planet, and she's now heading up YouTube and turning it into something that makes a lot more money than it does now. This is a tough gig, but she understands that. So, you know, there are some great opportunities out there. And then you move into Facebook and all the social media faces that you're involved in. But then a lot closer to home, we've had some fantastic homegrown success in the digital environment, both male and female. This is Dame Martha Lane Fox, who invented lastminute.com, innovated with that lastminute.com. So you don't have to go far to find innovation on our doorstep. And right here in Edinburgh, we're going to hear later on today from Gareth, who developed Skyscanner. He's running a company that employs 500 developers and people right here in Edinburgh that's going to start a digital cluster, truly a proper first-class digital cluster right here in Scotland and right here in Edinburgh. And that's a fantastic opportunity for everybody involved. So, I come from Aberdeen, so I'm walking down the high street in Aberdeen, and what does this mean to you? This is obviously not Aberdeen because the car's on the wrong side of the road. I'm wearing my Google Glass. Other forms of glassware are available. But what can this mean for you? Well, I need the hardware, and I need the connectivity, and I need the software. And the software I'm wearing tells me where I am and what I'm doing. And as I look down at the ground, it spots a pothole. The piece of software that's there just now recognizes where the pothole is and how big it is and how dangerous it is, and it immediately reports it back to the local authority. But too late. I've gone over the pothole and I've fallen over my bike. So what's happened to me at this point? This is software that we're working with and developing with in a space just now that really does affect you guys. I can't get on site as a doctor as quickly as I'd like, so I'm using wearable technology to beam what I'm looking at back to a medical professional somewhere in the world. It doesn't matter where they are. They can be any form of professional. And right here on the right-hand side, top right-hand side, I'm getting the real-time biometrics off of this individual or a patient that I'm looking at, or a piece of machinery or an environment. This is happening real-time and can happen real-time. The challenge for us in our industry in Aberdeen with oil and gas is that 60% of the workforce is within 15 years of retiring. So there's a massive amount of skills in old duffers like me that need to be transferred to young, enthusiastic people like you, and technology can enable that to happen. So we're working in a space that engineers like this can wear glass, or other equivalents are available, to enable the semi-qualified engineer on a training basis to go out into a fairly dangerous environment, or a fairly boring environment. Glass opens, or you open the box, glass looks into the box, it reads the barcode, and it tells you how many units are in there. Basic stock control. And these are snapshots of videos that we've done for a company. Top right-hand corner here, I've walked up to this valve. I've never installed it before, but if I don't switch it off in the next 5 minutes, it's going to blow up the pipeline. Maybe a little bit melodramatic, but how do I switch this valve off? The software sitting behind it recognizes where I am and who I am and what I'm doing, and it shoots a video to me real-time from an archive and says, this is how you switch this off. So the important factor there is, so what? Technology can now tell you all of these things. Technology and the use of technology can tell you all these things. We don't want to process out people because that's very, very dangerous. You want that algorithm in there that is the human mind. But through analytics, we can tell you your purpose and your intent, and we can start predicting how healthy you're going to be because of the watch you're wearing, the socks you're wearing, the trainers you're wearing, whatever you're wearing. We're now getting into a predictive society rather than a reactionary society. But you've got to be attractive individually if you want a partnership, whether it's work or not. You've got to be innovative and you've got to be relevant. My wife tells me this all the time. But if you apply those three things to what you want to do moving forward within our industry, you won't go far wrong. So you're going to hear from a great panel today, starting off with Angela Constance, MSP. But the panel today, some people in the panel today, and some of the quotes from the panel today, is that Britain is likely to produce the first $1 trillion company. So not the US, not California, not Florida, not China. The first $1 trillion company in our space is likely to produce here. So why should it be one of you guys? Why should it not be one of you guys? The Google equivalent is probably already hatching or has been hatched in somebody's head. It's probably started up. Big companies, really big companies, really don't innovate. It's the SMEs and the startups that innovate, and they drive into the big company sector. Big companies use innovation, they remain relevant, but it's the small companies and the startups. Guys like you with bright ideas driving things forward. You're the innovators in the next stage as we go through. And you should be hungry and you should be looking to solve problems. Don't come up with Facebook for dogs. That solves no problems whatever. But come up with Facebook for medical care. Come up with something that is problem fixing and problem solving. Think about using Google Glass to control the Ebola virus that's kicking around just now. How does that work? How do you keep people away from a situation that is highly dangerous? Think about solutions in that sort of space. So there's lots and lots and lots of talent within our sector, but lots and lots and lots of opportunity for you to come in and work with us at various levels. And even if that's the Darth Vader CEO, work toward it. Make it your own shape and your own colour. So from our point of view, the panel today who's going to come and join us, Angela Constance, MSP, and the Cabinet Secretary for Training, Youth and Women's Employment, as a key part to the Scottish digital economy and how that's going to be driven forward. Next up, we've got Phil Worms, who I remember colourfully a few years ago to me said, I work in marketing, most people think I do the colouring in. And I still use that one, so thanks for that. And then we've got Sherry Coachey. She's going to be here and talking about innovation and how startups work and how you get involved in that and what investors are looking for. To be successful, you're going to need a kick in the backside, and sometimes that takes money. Sometimes it just takes a kick in the backside. But you'll be driven through that today as we go through it. And then Robbie Graham's got an interesting story, because here's a guy who actually develops games and has developed games and some of the consoles that you will completely not be aware of and some of the stuff that will be completely relevant to you. But someone who gets in there and is a mechanic in our digital industry. And then Sally Kerr is innovating right here in Edinburgh and looking at how software can create a better environment for citizens at all levels, all spaces and all places within a city-wide environment, which really affects everybody in the room, regardless of which city you sit in. And then Chris Forrest, who's heading up Microsoft, one of these big, huge, massive organizations that you go, I can't get anywhere now Microsoft. And Chris is going to talk today about how you can get involved with Microsoft and how you can make that difference as you go through that space. So I'd like to invite the Minister up for the first section of the panel. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can please welcome Angela Constance, MSP.